Guys, welcome to another episode of An Idiot's Guide to Getting Started in Property. Had a phone call from a friend of mine this week, and she was really interested in buying a house. She'd seen a house that she likes, didn't have a clue how to go about it, what a mortgage was, how she gets one, where she gets one. So I thought this week's video, I'd just give a simple overview of the buying process. So firstly, where to find a property. It might seem really obvious, but Rightmove and Zoopla, these are the places you go to look for a house. So within the Rightmove and Zoopla search process, it's quite simple. You can just put in the cost of the property that you're looking for, the area that you're looking for. So you can type in a postcode. So NP25, for example, which is the Monmouth postcode, and then the radius, so up to 5 miles, and your cost price of, say, £200,000. So that will show you all of the houses within that price bracket. And once you've done that, you can start scrolling through and making your hit list. There'll be a number there, so you call up the estate agent and they would book you in a viewing for that property. So quite simple, really, where to find a property. It's not rocket science. Hit Google, Rightmove, Zoopla, or onthemarket.com, and you'll be able to find somewhere to search for properties. Second one, but perhaps not as simple, not as well known, is how to get a mortgage. So when we're looking at getting a mortgage, we are talking about a residential mortgage. So that is a loan that one or more persons receives in order to buy a house or other residential property in which they will live. So you might have heard of a buy-to-let mortgage. That's strictly for investors. Residential mortgage, if you're buying a house to live in, that is what you like. Okay, so where do you get a mortgage from? Well, most estate agents will have an in-house mortgage broker. The important thing is, guys, is when you're talking to your mortgage broker, you're asking them, do you cover all of market, whole of market? Because what happens if you just go to your bank, if I just go to Halifax and say, I'd like a mortgage, the only rate that Halifax can give me is what Halifax do. Okay, if I go to a whole of market broker, then they can search all of the market for the mortgage that I want and probably find a better deal than just going to one. They would also ask about your affordability. So that means they would take into account your earnings. So if you're self-employed, it's a little bit tougher. If you are an employee, then you will have to give over a number of pay slips. And if you're buying it with a partner, your combined income will be taken into account. Once that's taken into account, they'll be able to say, right, okay, your lending will be in the region of, say, £130,000. So with your deposit, which you'll have to put down, so you'll have to put down, at the moment, it's a 15% deposit. It was 10 and previously 5 at some points for first-time buyers. So you have to put down a deposit, and then the bank or the lender will lend you an amount of money on top of that, taking into account your earnings. Okay, so the mortgage that you'll be looking for is most likely a capital repayment mortgage. So that means that if they lend you £130,000, then every month when you're paying money, you will be paying money off that £130,000 as well as interest. There is also what they call an interest-only mortgage, and that means that every month you are just paying the interest. You are not paying anything off that £130,000 capital that they've lent you. They'll talk about the mortgage term. These are around about usually 25 years is an average one. So the shorter the mortgage term, the heavier the payments. The longer the mortgage term, the less the payments, but overall you will be paying off more. Okay, so it's very important, guys. If you've got any questions related to mortgages, speak specifically to your mortgage broker and ask them questions and ask them to explain it in layman's terms for you. Okay, next step is making an offer. This is quite simple. We all know about making an offer. If something is on the market for £150,000, you don't want to be going in and say, yeah, I'll pay £150,000 straight away. You want to play it a little bit more cute than that. So if something's on, let's use that figure. If something's on for £150,000, you might offer £130,000. What you want to make sure, guys, is you don't go in with your top offer straight away, and you always try and negotiate. Sometimes if you go in too low, then the seller will think that you're taking the mick, and they will take a bit of a dislike to you. I think it's important that you go in with a bit of a cheeky offer early doors, just to see how you're getting on. And then if you really like the property, you can always increase that offer incrementally. But again, following that same principle, don't go in at 130. They come back and say no, and you say, okay, 150. You want to be bringing it up gradually. Otherwise, they'll know that you were just trying to sort of take the mick on that. So again, not rocket science with making an offer. That's my little bit of advice. Just go in cheap and increase incrementally on that. So what happens next? Once the seller has accepted your offer, what they will do is tell the estate agent. The estate agent will tell you to instruct your solicitor, so you'll need to instruct a conveyancer. The estate agent may recommend one for you. They have some on their panel. So maybe speak to your estate agent about that if you don't already have one on board. I use a firm called Insight Law. They're based in Cardiff, and they deal with a lot of investor properties. So they work for me, although they are slightly more expensive on the residential side. So, guys, really, really quick whistle stop tour of the buying process. More than happy to answer any questions if you have any, to go into a little bit more detail. Again, blanket overview. So, hopefully, you find it useful. Please hit like and subscribe, and have a great day.